Hey guys, this is Undercover Dudes all the way from Down Under, and today we're going to be talking about Ironsight and what is happening to this game. The game that I said was one of the best free-to-play first-person shooters of 2019. About a month ago, I put out a video called The Future of Ironsight is Now, Steam. And in that video, I was very hopeful about the upcoming months of Ironsight Global, i.e. the North American, South American, and European version of the game. Ironsight had a string of fantastic updates a couple months ago that really changed the direction of this game for the better, and I was really hopeful that Ironsight was going to be making a very big revival. It's now been 2 months since that video was released, and nothing has really happened to the game besides a few events. Now please note that that video came out about a month after the massive patch dropped, so it's been about 3 months since we've had any patch notes, any content, any real update to the game, because all we've had is a few events here and there that tied us by, but nothing really considerable to actually progress the game's development. Now generally when you try to revive your game and it starts to work, like people were going back to Ironsight, lots of people watching my videos and saying, hey, I'll try Ironsight again. When you get that momentum, you actually continue to release updates to keep that momentum going. That's usually the plan of attack. And at the very least, I thought we would have got a full Steam release, and then that game, would be able to go and sustain itself with that Steam ecosystem, lots of people checking out the free-to-play section and all that. But for some reason, Area Games has completely hit the brakes on releasing new content. We've got absolutely nothing, and we've just had those community events. Now on the other hand, when we look at Ironsight Asia, Whipple Games is charging forward relentlessly with update after update and constant communication with the community. Now for a quick reminder, Ironsight is now split into 2 games, Ironsight, which I call Ironsight Global, and Ironsight Asia. Now both games are still being developed by Whipple Games, but Whipple self-publishes the Asian version and Area Games publishes the global version. Now this might be a hint to why the global version isn't getting any updates because, well, Whipple was prioritizing their own version of Ironsight. But before we get into that, let's talk about the updates Ironsight Asia has got in only the few months or so that it's actually been released on Steam. And there is a ton to talk about, so let's list them off. New Southeast Asia server, Japanese language added, new ballistic shield, new limited time mode called Duel, which is a 1v1 game mode, Steam exclusive packages for skins and weapons, including a free package with tons of weapons, lots of hot fixes and bug fixes, new Japanese server, constant patch notes and updates, and they have a new roadmap as well for what the game is going to be in the next year or so. So overall, they have been putting a ton of time and effort into this title. Basically, as soon as Whipple develops something, it is automatically implemented into the Asian version of Ironsight. However, the global version is left in the dark. Now, I don't have any information to back up my next statement, but going off what I can see, I assume there is a delay, like a contractual delay, between when the global version gets updates versus when they're actually released for the Asian version. Now that means we won't see this new mode or the new ballistic shield anytime soon. It's been about 2 months. I don't know how long this delay will be, but it's a big shame. Now people may ask, why did Ironsight split in the first place? Well, the answer is probably quite simple. From day one, Area Games bought publishing rights to Ironsight. However, their relationship with Whipple, the makers of this game, hasn't always been the most solid, and as of the last few months, Whipple wanted to self-publish this game in Asia because they felt like they had a better connection to the region since they're a Korean-based studio. Now since Area obviously wouldn't want to go and give up their global rights to the game, that meant the game had to be basically split, have 2 publishers for basically the same game. And this really does suck because it hurts the players. The player base is now fractured between 2 games, the Steam release is confusing, the names of the versions are confusing, and all up the players are the ones who suffer. I do want to say right now though that Ironsight is still very much playable in both versions. It has great play bases on both versions, an amazing amount of existing content, and the base gameplay is fantastic. Add in the class customization and all of that, and these games are still really good. It's just the fact it could be better when everything's together and they're putting all their time and effort into one game to really push that forward. This would be absolutely amazing, but it's just not realistic. Whipple Games wants to go and publish because they don't want to go and put their faith in Area Games. Area Games wants to hold on to their publishing rights because they're making money off Ironsight. It makes sense from a business standpoint. It's just from the player's perspective, it feels completely disorganized, and overall it makes me lose a lot of faith in Ironsight and where it's going to be in the future. Now, Ironsight was always a game with massive potential, and that potential can still be realized, but the two versions need to be in sync. They need to go and work it out somehow. When you play a game and it doesn't get updates for weeks, let alone a few months, it feels like you're putting effort into a game that is going to die. And then to add on top of that, when the other version of the game is getting constant updates from the studio that actually makes the game, it feels really, really frustrating. You'll be like, okay, why aren't I playing that version? Why aren't I getting that content in my version of the game? And overall, it's just a really frustrating feeling. Now, once that thought is in your head, like, oh, why am I putting effort into a game that isn't going anywhere? Your drive to play considerably drops because it feels like there is no point. It just feels like, oh, the game's just going to go and die, or why am I putting effort into it? People want to go and play games that are fun, yes, but they want to play games that they know will be around, because putting effort into a game and unlocking all the guns and paying money and all of that, if the game goes and dies, then what's the point? So people like to go and quit while they're ahead in that regard. Now, when Ironsight first came out, I had so much hope for this game. I thought it would be the next big thing. I had so much fun playing the game, and I still have lots of fun playing this game. It is still a really fun title, but I just don't play as much as I used to. Like back in the day, I was like full-time university load. I'm still full-time university load, but I was playing this game like every single night, even with 250 ping, because it was fun. And I just hoped that through these growing pains, like a year into this game, it would, be better because it would continuously get updates. There would be Australian servers, and overall, the game would just get better. But the progress has been so slow that people just forget, and I forgot about this game. When you just like, okay, what's happening to this? You just try to play something else, and when something else goes and grabs your attention and just keeps holding onto it, you don't go back to something that you've just basically forgotten. And that's me with Krunker.io right now. Krunker is holding my attention because that game is just so fresh and keeps getting updates, and the raw gameplay is so fantastic. That's why I keep playing it. And Ironsight is just lost in the dust for me a little bit. Now, this feeling is compounded by the fact we have been strung along for so long by Area Games and Whipple Games. And take, for example, the netcode. The netcode update was delayed by almost a year. They tried it in like September or something like that to actually go and push it out, but the netcode had been in development for many months before that. It was almost 12 months since we got the netcode fix, and yes, we did get it, but it took so long that people just gave up and just decided that Ironsight wasn't worth trying again. And I can understand, because you shouldn't be able to have to wait 12 months for a game in order for the netcode to be fixed. And the same case for the Steam release. That was in the works since December, November last year, and we still don't have it for the global version. And this is a really big thing, and it shouldn't be something that takes a very big effort. The game is in a playable state right now. It's in a very good state, and overall, yes, we don't have new content, but I feel like having a Steam release would go and make the game just so much more accessible, because the launcher for Ironsight is complete garbage. Now, I know that a big part of this is the fractured relationship between Area and Whipple. I'm not just blaming Area blindly. I know it's because Whipple wants to hold on content for themselves and then release it later. I don't know what's going on with their contract and all that, but I assume it's Area Games is not getting the best deal right here. But again, the players suffer. The sad thing though is that so many people want to play this game, and so many people really enjoy this game. My last Ironsight video that I released about a month ago has 62,000 views. And the video I released at the start of the year has 105,000 views. Those are very considerable numbers. Not only for my channel, those are like one of the most highest views videos within the last year or so, but also because it's for Ironsight, a game that nobody makes videos on right now, but the fact is people still want to go and see videos on it. People want to know about this game, but it's hard to make videos on a title that is giving me nothing new, where there's no new content for me to make videos about. Now, some people would go and say to play on the Asian servers, but my ping there is absolutely terrible for some reason when it should be fairly reasonable. I think it's a routing issue between Australia and Asia, but it floats around the 350 to 300 millisecond range, which is borderline unplayable. Now, overall, I still love Ironsight. I still think it's one of the best free-to-play first-person shooters right now, and the player base is still fairly stable. So this is not me saying that you shouldn't play it, but as of right now, it's not a game that is moving forward. I think that this is really sad given the momentum this game had last year off the back of big YouTubers like JackFrags making really positive videos on this game, but I suppose that's how the cookie crumbles. Now, the last question for today is, will I be making more Ironsight videos? Well, the answer is maybe. If we get 4,000 likes on this video, I'll hop onto the Asian version and try out the new ballistic shield, so make sure to go and smash the like button for that. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, make sure to go and subscribe to the channel for more free-to-play content. But for now, it's Undercover Dudes all the way from down under, out.